You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you, and on game days, take 10% off your order. And for home games, make sure you take the Send Shuttle, $17 to and from the CTC, right back to where the vibes are free. I'm Ross Levitan. The Martian is on his way from being boots on the ground. He will join me in just a few minutes, but I couldn't keep waiting because the Ottawa Senators get their second shutout victory of the season, beating the Seattle Kraken 3-0 in the second half of a back-to-back. The three top goal scorers on the team for the Senators come through. It was the hockey god, Adam Gaudette, kicking things off early. He gets his sixth goal of the season. Then Brady Tkachuk in the second, his seventh goal of the season. And the German on Oktoberfest night at the CTC, his sixth of the season, into an empty net, hitting my parlay. Shout out FanDuel. Michael Amadio with the Knights billiards right off the wall, and it's in the back of the net. 3-0. The Senators win. Final score. Shots on goal favor Ottawa 23-22. Third period was all Anton Forsberg, though. I mean, talk about battening down the hatchets. That's what he did. Some big saves early on in the third period, and I noted a couple. The Burakovsky one-timer, cross-ice seam, bang. Then the post. Hey, they don't pay him to stop the ones going wide. And then right afterwards, you got another huge save. Eberle right over to McCann, cross-ice. And Forsberg, when he's on his game, there's just a level of confidence that he brings to the rest of the team, like we see with Linus Ullmark the last couple of games, especially the Blues, where it radiates confidence to the rest of the team, and the boys got rolling from there. I see the chats loving the Anton Forsberg revenge tour, that first game of the season, into preseason even. That last one I remember against Detroit, he let in 2 goals in the first 4 shots, and you're like, uh-oh, what are we going to get from Anton Forsberg this year? Well, you know what we have? Through 11 games, the only goalie in the NHL with multiple shutouts. That's your Anton Forsberg. Shuts out the NHL's newest expansion team, the Utah Hockey Club, and then the 32nd team, the Seattle Kraken, They don't get anything on them tonight. By the way, if you're in Ottawa and you're a Seattle Kraken fan, what are you doing? What are you doing? One, you're going to cheer for a team that starts at 10 p.m. every night. You're going to cheer for that? I only say that because when they were playing the Star Spangled Banner before the game, they were panning to a lot of Kraken jerseys in the crowd. Obviously, they were trying to point them out just for the sake of the U.S. national anthem, but my goodness. Yeah, Biz, I agree with you. Forsberg looking like Igor Shesterkin out there, the way he was playing, kicking him out, looking confident. And let's talk about that first goal, because I think that set the tone for the entire game. And initially, it was called no goal on the ice. It was a jam play right in front of the net. Good pass by McEwen to get it out front. And Grubauer never had it, not even for a split second. It actually went off the defenseman's skates. I think it was Will Borgen, and bang, Cousins is right in there jamming away, and it goes right to Gaudette. The puck was outside of the crease too, so you can't even say like, oh, goalie interference. No, he was reaching for it, and I'm glad that Mike King, video coach for the Ottawa Senators, called down and said, hey, let's get the challenge on that. Sens, by the way, now 3-4-3 on challenges so far in the early going this season. Yeah, Matthew, don't get me started on Eric Furlat. The refereeing, we don't talk about the refs on this show, thankfully. Otherwise, this might be an extremely long postcast tonight. I mean, some of the calls were egregious. Like, it was the offensive player trying to move the stick out of the way, and they would call it a hook. It was complete gong show. But you know what? Didn't cost them the game. Both teams went 0-for on the power play. The Ottawa Senators go 0-for-3. The Seattle Kraken go 0-for-4. I got this beautiful graphic pulled up here. I may as well show it to the people, right? I mean, if we're going to be here waiting for Martian, may as well have some fun along the way. And if you saw in the thumbnail, I spelt Forsberg's name with a 0 instead of an O for Forsberg. Drop the U. That's thing of the past. He's Forsberg now with the O for 0 goals against. The face-off battle won by the Ottawa Senators tonight, 55.3%, 44.7% for the Seattle Kraken. The blocks favor Seattle slightly, 15-14. Ottawa with 25 hits to 14 for the Kraken. And at 5-on-5, the expected goals percentage, 58% for the Ottawa Senators. Speaking of hits, Brady Tkachuk was in one tonight. Not only with the goal, beautiful deflection, high slot, right into the back of the net. Almost looked like Ridley Gregg got a stick on it. It was Ridley Gregg's 100th NHL game tonight, so that would have been a cool story. But maybe even a better story, how about Brady Tkachuk, the captain, scoring his 7th goal of the season at 11-11 with Daniel Alfredsson on the bench. You could almost say the hockey god, we're looking down on him, as we know the hockey god did his own thing there. That fourth line, McEwen flying around, Jimmy Stu writing that in. Completely agree with that. And just the way they're controlling the play, man, it's sick to see. Like, to me, that's almost the third line at this point, because I did like moments from a Stapchuk, had a good block in the third period, and Michael Amadio gets the assist. He actually moved up onto that top line at the end of the game. They wanted a more defensive look, and fair enough with that one. So he moves up there, but for the most part, Amadio was on that third line, and to me, they were the least efficient line. And if you look at the time on ice, yeah, Stapchuk plays 10:07, Gaudette 11:40. Now, Gaudette also gets reps on the power play, so he's got that going for him. But just overall, what a performance tonight for the Senators. You could tell in the third period they were playing the second half of back-to-back. Seattle was waiting for them in Ottawa, so you're like, okay, there's going to be a push. And there was. But those 3 moments I mentioned at the start of the period, save on Burkowski, then the post, then the save on McCann, you're like, okay, we're getting an Anton Forsberg performance for the ages here. And we even saw later in the period, and now they get a quick whistle, because after that overturned goal, then they started letting them play for a little bit longer around the crease, especially a couple times around Forsberg. But in the third period, Forsberg caught a puck. He was looking to move it and keep the clock rolling with 5 minutes left. And sure enough, they give him a quick whistle there of that. Sens fan and Van, welcome to the new age. Pilsy is celebrating his lady's 30th birthday tonight, so he doesn't even know where the panic button is. Sens are 6-5 now, and Sens fan and Van mentioning as well, the boys have showed us they have finally arrived. It certainly feels that way, especially we even said last night wasn't an event cast. Last night was just a fine cast because they played great. They just couldn't beat Igor Shesterkin, and I don't have to be a goalie connoisseur to know that Philip Grubauer isn't quite on the level of Igor Shesterkin. He was fine tonight. He allowed 2 goals on 22 shots, because then you get the 1 extra shot for the empty netter. But man, the Senators, they just play organized. They're playing for each other, and there's not a whole lot of weak links out there, especially tonight. I mean, we can nitpick, and I don't feel like, bringing up any names tonight. How about this? Every defenseman on the Ottawa Senators +1. Talk about snapping it around. Every single guy +1. I mentioned the German on Oktoberfest night, Tim Stützle, with a goal. He also added an assist. I think it was a primary too, was it? Or no, it must have been a secondary. It was on the Brady, because he gave it to JBD, who shot it on net. Brady gets a tip. I thought JBD had a great night tonight. Blocking shots, a couple big blocks for JBD, and then gets that point shot through. Something that some other defensemen maybe could learn a thing or two on the back end, making sure pucks get to the net. And you saw tonight, just everybody buying in, and the crowd was great. 17,000 plus at the CTC. So we're going to talk to one of those guys who's at the CTC tonight in Lalim's, Martian. So why don't I hit the ad right now? We'll get to our chat with Martian in just a minute. He just texted me saying he's home. Just got to take Hansel out. I think Hansel ate all of his butter tarts this morning, so he's probably going to have to deal with that for 2 seconds. And then we will get to the game itself. We'll get to the Sen Central standouts and a whole lot more. But the Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. The Postcast wouldn't exist without the Glebe Central Pub. That's where you can go at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senator sent you. You'll get 10% off your bill on Sens game days, and the Sens shuttle is the best way to get to and from the CTC. You can get your tickets online, GlebeCentralPub.com, and make sure to stick around the bar after the game, because at the GCP, they've got live music every Saturday night. They always have something going on, whether it's trivia night or specials like Wing Night, Taco Tuesday. They've always got something going on at the GCP. So head there where the vibes are free at the GCP, 779 Bank Street, and make sure you let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. It is the official pub of the Locked On Senators. We love our friends over at the Glebe Central Pub, so support us by supporting them, the GCP. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Shout out FanDuel. FanDuel's where I was able to hit my parlay today. I was down bad. I had about $5.50 left in the account. So what did I do? I parlayed over at FanDuel, Senators minus 1.5 and Tim Stützle anytime goal scorer. So I needed that empty netter that occurred with how much time left in that game? 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in the game. That hit. So I'm feeling good over at FanDuel. You can make every moment more over at FanDuel as well. It's the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets all in one place. So if you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more over on the same page where you make your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets, and if you win your first $5 bet, you'll get that $150 in bonus bets. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan. We are awaiting for Martian's triumphant return to the Postcast and his triumphant return from the CTC, where, fellas, the Ottawa Senators are 5-1 at home this season. That can't go unnoticed. The way that this team is playing at home, sure, there's been some ups and downs. The 8-7 game, I was there for that against LA. It hasn't always been pretty, but they've been getting the job done at home. The only loss came in that 3-1 loss against the New Jersey Devils. So tonight's game, Forsberg is the story. He has to be. He was great early. He was great late. And he was so confident. I was of the mind that maybe you run Linus Ullmark back just because you want to get him into a rhythm, right? Like Martian mentioned too. It's just like when Ullmark plays, it was especially weird when he played against Vegas, called himself out, and then wasn't back in time for the Colorado game. But when you're getting performances like this, I owe Anton Forsberg an apology. I was familiar with this game before the double MCL tears, but what he's shown now in the last 3 starts, he was great against Colorado. That wasn't an Anton Forsberg loss. by any means. He kept that team in it there. So for him to be able to play now, I think 3 solid starts in a row, like I've got full confidence whenever he's put back in the lineup. And yeah, the stats weren't that pretty against Colorado, actually, but that was a tough game. Team didn't do him many favors, especially for the first 50 minutes of that game. But I'm happy with what I'm seeing from Anton Forsberg, so he'll be my Sen Central standout to kick things off. I'm going to rip it right out of the hands of our guy, Martian. And if I go over to Money Puck, let's see what the expected goals were, all the fancy stats here, and what kind of night the analytics folks would think that Anton Forsberg has. 1.5 expected goals against. So it was a good, solid defensive effort, especially on the second half of back-to-back. And we're just hoping that the boys can continue rolling here, as now we've got a divisional game up next against the Buffalo Sabres. And you can put a real nail into their start to the season because they fell tonight to the Detroit Red Wings. So they're in a situation right now in Buffalo where tonight, like I know a lot of people probably preferred Buffalo to win. I was just saying, don't go to overtime. We can't get the loser points. And it was just a 1-goal game. Dylan Larkin with both goals in the second period on the power play. So Detroit got a win tonight. So that means Buffalo still struggling out of the gate here, 4-7-1. So you could really do some damage, not only improving to 7-5 if you get a win, not to get ahead of myself, but if you get a win, you're really looking good here because now we got some divisional games coming up. Ottawa hasn't played a whole lot in the division, just the 3 games they played against Tampa, win, home opener against Florida, win, and then we don't have to talk about that game against Pilsey's not here, but the Montreal Canadiens. We remember that one. Outside of that, though, I saw on Twitter today, our guy, I think his name's Ted, he wrote to us and said, hey, you know, the Sens have the 3rd strongest strength of schedule from what they've already played. That checks out. I mean, they've played every Stanley Cup champion going back to 2019, including the St. Louis Blues. And let me mention this real quick. And Martian is going to join us in 2 seconds. Hope I'm doing okay here, dancing around. Love the boys. Love shooting it around with the boys after games. But I couldn't wait. I needed to get some takes out here with Anton Forsberg playing as well as he did in this game. But how about the St. Louis Blues beating the Toronto Maple Leafs, then losing to Montreal, then getting absolutely torched by Ottawa 8-1. And then I don't know if they've played since, but then they go home and they beat the Leafs again. They beat the Leafs again 4-2. So Toronto's lost to the same St. Louis Blues that Ottawa beat 8-1. They've lost them twice in the last 4 games that they've played. Awesome. Ottawa, by the way, is playing Toronto not this Tuesday, but next. That could be a fun one. Because, again, I only look at the standings after the Sens win games. I don't look at it. Doesn't matter after they lose games. It's early, right? Who cares? But when they win games, we look at the standings. And Ottawa with a game in hand on Toronto, 1 point back for 3rd in the division. So I'm just happy that we're still on division looking, but I think that's going to change here as things continue to really fall into place for the Ottawa Senators. Jen Botterill, in the 2 seconds they spoke about Ottawa in the first intermission, I guess Arbor Jacki was a more important storyline on national TV than the Ottawa Senators. Don't get me started on that, but Jen Botterill did say that the Ottawa Senators were looking the part, looking calm, looking cool, looking collected. Let's see how it looked from the building tonight as we bring in my good friend, Laleem's Martian. Buddy, I just went 19 minutes solo, just talking to myself here. And the great people, 462 citizens hanging out. The Muzzy looks great. We already the Movember team that we got going for Sens Twitter. We're going to put the link in our bio here. Make sure to join the crew. What was the vibe in the rink tonight, Marshy?
Fantastic, man. 17,500 strong in there. And we were the 7th man on the ice for the team tonight. I feel like the energy in the rink was fantastic on the Saturday evening game, and the boys were looking good as well. So I was very pleased in the rink, and I'm looking at a 4-1 record on boots in the ground this year, Ross. You gotta love that.
Yeah, and you missed that 8-7 LA game that I was at. So the boys are buzzing on home ice, 5-1. I already just basically raved about Anton Forsberg for 15 minutes. What did he look like from the building?
I mean, he was a star tonight, dude. He was awesome. He like some of the glove saves he was making, some of the stretch moves he was making. He was holding the team in there very well, especially in the third period. Man, there was a few chances where there was a power play where he made a good save, and then there was a few chances late there where it could have easily got a little bit more interesting than it needed to get. And he was there. Very proud of Anton Forsberg tonight. He had a fantastic game.
He certainly did. And the boys looked good in the first period. Like from the drop to the puck, they just dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, it was very similar to what they looked like against St. Louis and very similar, I think, as well to what they look like against New York. And if this is the identity of this team, Ross, they're going to win a lot of hockey games if they play like that every night. The pedal is on the ground and it doesn't come off. And they're just flooring it all night long. You're getting good secondary scoring. They're rolling four lines. It's fun to watch, and that's the way they need to play. And that's the difference between what they looked like last year too, Ross. Like I think guys were like, some you could say some guys were passengers last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that. But like this year, everybody's pulling on the same rope. Everybody's giving her, and like I said, it's just fun to watch.
It's outrageous to watch. And Buck here pointed out that Stützle and Tkachuk are both top 15 in scoring. The captain in particular has points in 10 of 11 games this year. Only the one loss at home was where Brady was held off the score sheet. So unreal for him. And Tim Stützle, I mean, automatic. It was Oktoberfest night and they were playing against a German goalie. He was going to get ended up being with no goalie in net, the goal finally, but he was all over it again tonight. And Marshy, we've given the blame pie before. Let's do a credit pie. Like, how much credit are you giving here to Steve Staios putting together the team, Travis Green, the buttons he's been pressing early this year, and the players? Like, obviously the players, I think you have to put at least 50% because they're the ones going out there and doing the job. But how do you divvy up where the credit belongs to so far?
For sure. For me, it's like you said, probably 50% players. Those guys I mean, they obviously are a little pissed off coming into this year. They want a different result than they've had in the years past. And then I look immediately to Travis Green and the level of accountability that he's holding every single player to. It's pretty obvious. Every mistake they make, there's going to be a conversation. If something happens that he doesn't like, he's going to let them know. And that's something that they're probably not used to. And it's something that they probably, early in the year or even prior to training camp or during training camp, they were told, it's not going to be like years past where you got your fun uncle working the bench here. This is Travis Green's hockey team. He is working them like dogs. He's making sure they're in shape. He's making sure they're making the right plays. He's making sure they're on the right side of the puck. Travis Green, to me right now, looks like a really good coach for this hockey team. So I'm pleased with what he's doing there. And then of course you got to give a little bit of credit to Steve Staios, especially when you look at some of the acquisitions he made who are contributing on not only the team culture, but also just like the team skill and the way they're playing. That defensive side of the puck, as I was saying, guys like Michael Amadio, they might not be showing up every night on the score sheet, but when you're watching the game, they're contributing in different ways. And, you have to give credit to Steve Staios for bringing in the right kind of character guys for this team. So for me, it's like, it's all of the above, Ross. All those factors are all of a sudden coming together. They have a 6-5 record right now, Ross, but like, dude, I think they could easily be better than that if they didn't have such a tough schedule to start the year. I was looking at it. I think that they were ranked as like the first hardest schedule of all. Third? Okay, sorry.
Third. And for the rest of the season beyond tonight, they have the 27th hardest schedule.
Okay, I don't know what I was looking at, but obviously it was a little bit different than you, but same thing. 27th hardest.
Same tier.
Yeah, same tier. That's all right. So man, I mean, like, going forward now, you can expect them, especially now that I think we've finally found what this team's identity might look like. And it's just a hardworking, skilled, fast team. And that's what I think that is going to work for them in the long run. Sure, there's going to be nights where maybe they don't look like that every single night. It's going to be hard to, keep that exact level going every single night. I mean, that's going to be a grind for them if they're going to play like this every single night. The way they're skating is incredible. Guys like Drake Batherson, I've never seen him backcheck so hard in my entire life. And he's a different player now all of a sudden, right? And he's still, contributing offensively. Maybe not tonight, but other nights, of course. but like, I mean, he had that one chance tonight. He like kind of blew one high and wide and he kind of rimmed around the boards. And he's the first man as far as the forward group goes getting back. So, guys like that who maybe in the past have been looked at as kind of like soft defensive players or maybe not the hardest working players are all of a sudden taking another step into their game. And that's what we're going to need to do if we're going to be winning.
That's just it, man. And they're bringing it night in, night out. And I love what we're seeing up and down the lineup. Like tonight, I thought Brady led with his physicality first. He had 7 hits in this game, and it was apparent early on. Like first whistle, he goes into the crease, gives a little shove to one of their bigger defensemen and says, buddy, like, or it was Yanni Gord actually that came in. He's like, no, like this is going to be a physical game. Let's get ready for it. And I mean, the biggest hit was probably taken by a Senator on Travis Hamonic, but Absolutely. It was a penalty too. He got rocked.
He did. He took one for the team. He took one for the team there to make the play. I think Josh Norris took a good bang too at one point. And I would like to see him spring right back up like that. But yeah, going back to Brady, man. I mean, in the offensive zone, they were kind of doing a little bit of a switch move where Brady was ending up on the right side of the ice on the offensive zone, but on the way back, he was cutting across the ice in the neutral zone. And he was hammering guys in front of the benches, man. Like there was multiple times where he was taking out multiple players with just him, like just using his truculence, Ross, just to get through. And he was taking the body every time. And I mean, I don't know what it would feel like to have a guy who was 6'4", 220, just bearing down on you. But I can imagine you can hear him coming, and it's not a good feeling. And you know he's going to finish that check. So absolutely, you're right about that with Brady and his physicality. It was apparent tonight. Everybody was kind of banging bodies out there tonight. I don't know if Seattle's like maybe not a great team. They look like a not good team tonight, and maybe that's just a credit to how well the Sens played because they just couldn't handle them. It was, they had nothing cooking. Ross, they had nothing cooking.
Nothing. And Zach McEwen almost threw a Kraken player into his own bench, said, hey, line change, called for it. Here we go. So love that. Let's actually discuss that quickly, and then I'm going to hit a break. Then we'll get to our Sens Central standouts. But like, lots been made again about Boston's fourth line, but Ottawa's fourth line this year has been outrageous. Nick Cousins gets an assist here tonight, poking away in front of the net. Adam Gaudette's got 6 goals on the season, all of them in the last 5 games. Like, this guy's unbelievable. And then you've got Zach McEwen skating like the wind and wrecking everybody in his path. Like, I want to move Gaudette up the lineup, but I also don't want to touch that fourth line.
Yeah, me and my buddy Rudy were actually talking about that during the game. It's like, man, the way Gaudette's scoring, and I know I gave him a little bit of a hard time during the preseason and prior, like the early couple games when he wasn't producing, but all of a sudden this guy's second on the team in scoring with 6 goals. He's, like I said, secondary scoring. He's providing it, and that's what you need. But yeah, with the way he's playing and the way he's finishing, I mean, he did score 45 goals last year in the AHL, Ross. Like, I mean, you can't ignore that. And this guy clearly has a knack for scoring goals. And if you put him on that top line, and I do like that they toss him on the power play as well, Ross, in the, later in the game there, they end up throwing him on the second unit. And I think he's a little bit of a specialist there.
Yeah, now you just need Pinto to come back to take a Matteo spot, and then your second unit is just clicking too.
Yeah, and I don't think Matteo had his best night tonight as far as like
Dick Billiard's pass though, right off the boards.
He always makes the odd little play where you're like, okay, that was a savvy play by Matteo. It's not always the kind of thing that's gonna show up on the score sheet or whatever. I don't think Jake Sanderson had his best game tonight either. But like all of a sudden, he looked a little bit lethargic out there. We were talking about that as well, like a little miscues on the back end. But dude, like, if they just keep rolling like this and everybody does their job and everybody like continues to work hard the way they are, they're going to be able to be a good team. That's all we're asking for.
In terms of expected goals percentage tonight, no surprise for me at least at who's number 1 tonight. Nick Jensen and Thomas Chabot were buzzing out there. Dude, every time it's 4-on-4, Nick Jensen looks like the best player on the ice.
Dude, Nick Jensen was taking a beating tonight too. I don't know if you noticed, like for me, like we're always in that back corner where the Sens are shooting twice. But when he was in the second period, he was getting hit every time he touched the puck. But he just keeps on trucking, man. He's a nice pickup for the Sens. Such a good fit.
Yeah, water bug back there too, and he just flies sneaky fast, man. Like he'll pinch in a little bit, and then he's first guy back. It's awesome to see. So shout out to Nick Jensen and Thomas Chabot, because Chabot, another guy who's been a whipping boy in the fan base over the course of multiple seasons now, but he had a tough start to the year. But if you look at his last 3 games, man, in particular, like since coming back from Colorado, basically, I mean, what do you have tonight? Did he get it? I don't think he had any points tonight, but man, he was solid. No points tonight, but get this. In the past, if Thomas Chabot played 27 shifts, he was playing like 32 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonight, Thomas Chabot, 27 shifts, he played 22 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's ideal, right? That's kind of that's where you want them to be. Like, he was getting abused early in his career, Ross, with the amount of ice this guy had to eat up. And yeah, he looked really good tonight, man. There was moments where like he was taking some great point shots. He was, breaking the puck out really well. I loved him on the power play tonight, actually. Like, usually we kind of talk about Chabot as being a little bit too patient out there, but tonight he had a little bit of urgency in this game, and I think that it was just good stuff. He was creating chances for the team, and that's what you want out of the guy.
Lots of great performances to go around. We'll each snap around 2 Sen Central standouts on the other side. But today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money on sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season on PrizePicks. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. So download this PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's the PrizePicks app, code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Go check them out today at PrizePicks. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan. That is Lalim's Martian. And the Ottawa Senators are 3-0 winners tonight at home against the Seattle Kraken. They will be back on the ice for their next game Tuesday in Buffalo to take on the Sabres. The week continues Thursday at home against the New York Islanders, and then Saturday on the road against Boston. So 2 road divisional matchups next week. So going into that, up above 500, 1-1 in the month, and now down 3-2 in our second fake best of 7 series. But big win tonight. Forsberg, excellent. While I was chatting to myself in the first segment, he's my first Sen Central standout, so I'll snap it over to you with that.
Yeah, like you said, you're taking Forsberg as your standout there, right?
Yeah, I'm doing 2. We're snapping back twice for sure in the game like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about the secondary scoring that's coming from this team, and we talked a little bit about Adam Gaudette, and I think I have to go for this guy right here as my standout. So Adam Gaudette tonight was just like, he was all around it, Ross. That goal was really funny too, right? Grubauer didn't have his glove over it, but the ref thought he did because he was on the wrong side of it. And then I don't know who poked it over to him. I think it might have been Zach McEwen.
Nick Cousins.
It was Cousins. And then, he gets it over to Gaudette, and he knows what to do with that thing. He buries that thing every time, 10 out of 10 times probably. And I just think, Gaudette's just been a great contributor to this team. This is kind of one of those guys who you don't really know, for him probably, being in the AHL last year, he probably doesn't know what kind of chances he's going to end up with in his NHL career again going forward. Coming back to Ottawa and making this roster, and then now all of a sudden having 6 goals in whatever it is, 9 games, 10 games. And I mean, what more can you say? He's playing 4th line minutes, and he's friggin' contributing as much as first line guys. So he's got to be happy with himself. I'm happy with the way he's playing. And he's a threat every shift, and it was pretty apparent tonight. And he you know what, Ross? He's got a little bit of grit to his game too, man. He's not afraid to be a little bit of a for lack of a better term, a little bit of a rat, right? He's giving guys shots, and he's in the corners, and he's working hard. So for me, it's Adam Gaudette for sure tonight as my Sen Central standout. He got a lot done. He had 19 shifts tonight, Ross, +1, 2 PIMs. I don't even remember the penalty. I think it was one of those Eric.
Oh, it was one of the worst calls I've seen in a while.
It was an Eric Furlat special. He's a Sens hater. He couldn't get us tonight, but he probably wishes he could.
Tried.
He tried to get us, and so Adam Gaudette for me, it looks like he took 4 faceoffs. He only won 1 of those. That's maybe a little bit on the negative side, but also happy with his game overall tonight. So Adam Gaudette is my Sens Central standout.
Drunk Jimmy Stu, great handle, says Gaudette playing like he never wants to ride a bus ever again. Get this guy the filet mignon the way he's playing right now. Jake mentions, would you move Gaudette up and then switch Yannick for Ostapchuk? Unfortunately, Jan Yannick's injured for a matter of months down there in Belleville. And quickly before we move on, did you see Donovan Sabrango's goal tonight?
I didn't get a chance to see it.
Oh, I'm going to play it right now, and then we'll get back to our Sens Central standouts. This is the AHL goal of the year. Like, there's nothing is going to beat this from Donovan Sabrango tonight. No, I don't even want to tell you. I just want to play it. I'm so happy actually that you haven't seen it. Shout out to our friends over at the Belleville Senators. They're such beauties down there. And here it is. Let me share the tab here. Okay, check this out.
Sends on the offensive. Here's Davies, top of the right circle. Gets up into the middle, zips it over to Reinhart. Now down low for Sabrango. He scored.
Little 2-touch between his legs, and it's in the back of the net. That is so nasty. They had a big win today. I think 6-2 was the final score, but this was one of the better goals you'll ever see here. We'll just watch the highlight here real quick. 1 touch, bang,
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how I mean, what can you do if you're a goaltender looking at that? Because you're not thinking that that's coming that way like that. So
no chance.
That is awesome. That's, you know what that is? That's just pure instinct from Donovan Sabrango there. That's just
yeah. Man, some people were saying that it was luck. I was like, dude, he backhand tapped it to himself and then whacked it out of mid-air into the back of the net. That was absolutely filthy from Donovan Sabrango. Yeah, as you said, good Ottawa boy, and everyone was happy. He had a great preseason with the Sens, man. I wouldn't be surprised, and obviously, knock on wood, you don't want any injuries, and the left side of the Sens decor is locked in because Tyler Clevin looks fantastic, man.
He's all of a sudden really rounding out like a
poise,
good buddy.
Like
poise. Here's the thing that hasn't yet been unlocked for him, and it probably won't come yet, but the big booming hits, one, and he's got major offensive touch, Ross. I don't remember how many goals he had in his last year at UND. I think it might have been 7 or 8. He's not afraid to shoot it from the point, and he's got a sneaky wrister, very similar to the way Sanderson does it. And you saw examples of that tonight from Sanderson. He was wristing pucks on net all night long. And that's one thing that Sanderson can always do. But you don't expect it from a big boy like Tyler Clevin, and he is doing it. Man, he's all of a sudden figuring out the game speed. And JBD as well, Ross. I mean, JBD,
that pair is sick.
Yeah, it's nice. It's the UND connection boys, man. They're rolling. And I mean, I've said this last postcast as well. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see what Travis Green decides to do when Artem Zub comes back. Because, I mean, even Hamnick tonight, I don't think he had a terrible night. But
it's okay. It's okay.
He does the same thing every time. You know it's coming. He's gonna. I'm so close.
He's gonna rip it.
Right now, but he's gonna clap. He's gonna clap that thing every time, right? It's like
he loves it. By the way, Clevin, his first year at Nodak, 5 goals, 2 assists. Second year, 7 goals, 3 assists, and his third year, 8 goals, 10 assists. So getting more and more confident each year at Nodak, and he's
8 goals, right? Is that what you said?
8 goals, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great number for a D-man, right? Especially in however many games they play. What do they play? 30 games or something like that?
Yeah, 35 to 38. Those are the two total.
8 goals in 30 games. You expand that over 82, buddy. He's like a 15 goal scorer probably. So
and everybody was saying that for Clevin, it was a matter of panicking with the puck was like the big knock on him. Did he have the poise? And he looks like he's slowing the game down out there every time he's out. It's awesome.
Here's the thing I know about Tyler Clevin. Just I got to know him a little bit over the course of I played 18 holes with him and Tyler Boucher. And the way he approaches golf is he's a big time student of the game. He wants to learn all the little intricacies. He wants to get lessons. He wants to learn from other people who are better at it than him. And all the little details that he's going to try to pick up, he's going to pick up. He's a smart guy. And I guarantee you, I mean, it would be insane if he wasn't, but he's the same way with hockey, right? He is picking the brain of every single guy he can to be the better player than he is today. So it's like 1% a day for Tyler Clevin. So he's going to get there. He is there. He's here. So he's doing his job. And I don't think that his ceiling is obvious yet. I think that there is a level to his game that he can get to that might be a terrifying level for a lot of people. And I know there's people who were like scouting back in that draft, and they were saying like he's like a do not draft guy. Like,
elite prospect said that.
Yeah, like I mean, look at him now, right? Like, he's making them look really stupid, as they sometimes do when they're talking about.
What I do like about them though is they'll do their retrospects and be like, "Here's why we were wrong." They actually did one about Tim Stutzla the other day because they had him ranked 7.
Well, I'm waiting for the Clevin one right now because this guy's looking like a stud.
Yeah, he looks like a stud. Is he going to be your Sen Central standout then, number 2? Let's just do that as an aside. No. Let's do that as an aside. There's enough great performances to go around.
I actually am trying to think who. Maybe I'll go with Brady, man. I think Brady.
That's who I was going to take next. I got another one, but Brady was unreal tonight. He led the boys into battle.
Brady, and I'll try to remember who I liked from the on the ice perspective. You go.
Okay, so for me, Brady Tkachuk's a standout because of the way he set the tone physically in this game, and then getting a high tip right into the back of the net for what ends up being the insurance goal in this game. Like, you don't get a better captain game than that from Brady Tkachuk. And Steve Lloyd with TSN 1200 also noted that this is the furthest into a season that Brady Tkachuk has gone without fighting. In 2019, it was 10 games was the most, and now he
doesn't have to anymore.
Doesn't have to.
Everybody knows. And this is the other thing, right? He's getting a little bit older now, and some of these younger guys who are coming into the league who are younger than him are, remembering what he has done in his, first 6-7 seasons in the NHL, and they don't want it. Like, who would want to fight this guy right now? And then you look at, guys who are enforcers, and why would he fight them? Because that's just a bad trade-off for his team. So he doesn't need to. He has that respect. They know he'll do it if he has to. But, he's kind of in that perfect spot right now where he just doesn't have to fight, but he gets all the benefits of being a good fighter.
And at least a point now in 10 out of 11 games. Brady Tkachuk putting his money where his mouth is. He keeps saying, I'm not going to stop till I win a cup. Well, he's playing the best hockey I've seen in his career so far. So Brady Tkachuk.
I heard a quote from him. He was talking. So I was listening to Missing Curfew, was a podcast that I listened to. Shane O'Brien is like pretty. I guess he's close with the Tkachuk family. He texts Brady every now and then, and he just mentioned that Brady said to him, "I'm not loving my game right now," which is crazy because points wise and team wise, I feel like they're doing pretty well. But if Brady's saying that, then that like he's always hungry.
Yeah, Sens Fan and Van, great people too. We got to meet them at the GCP before the home opener. They said he's got the Messier effect right now. Hop on his back, and he'll do the rest. You got another standout for us here?
Yeah, listen, Ross, I'm having a tough time trying to pick one guy out right now.
Oktoberfest, dude. Come on. Timmy was dancing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Dude, yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you so much for teaming up on that. It was too obvious. Yeah. I mean, yeah, give it to the German, man. Like, that's what you got to do. And on the Sens' first goal, that was it on the power play? I believe it was.
No. Ottawa went 0 for 4 on the power play.
Oh, wow. That's actually rare for them right now because they were clipping at like almost 40% prior.
0 for 3. Seattle went 0 for 4.
Right, but maybe the power play just ended or something like that. But Timmy had the pot. He got the second assist, I believe, on that goal. That Brady Tkachuk.
Correct.
Goal, right?
Yeah, he put it up to JBD, wrist shot on net, tip, and it's in.
Correct. Yeah. So he's just, man, everything he does when he has the puck, the crowd almost perks up, right? Every time. It's so cool, man. He's such a star. 22 years old. He's doing what he does out there. I can't say enough good things, but I literally could probably talk for like 20 minutes about the German. He is so sick. And I'm happy that he's on our team, man. So tonight, he was doing his thing, man. The handles Ross, can we talk about the handles on this guy?
So sick, dude.
What do you have to do to get that kind of stick handling ability? And even when he mishandles it, he somehow finds a way to keep it, you know? Everything he does is pure gold. So I got to go with Timmy Stützle. He had the 1 assist there tonight. And what else? What else was this guy cooking tonight? Because
the chat's not messing around. The chat's got 84% for Anton Forsberg. I mean,
Yeah.
the 10 Central standout. No surprise there. The votes keep coming in, but what a performance from Forsberg. What a performance from the whole team. And you knew that on the second half of back-to-back, up to going into the third, that there would be that push, and he just held the fort, man. That's awesome. They must have so much confidence in their goalies right now, the way they're playing, and that's not something we've been able to say. Dude, even Korpisalo got a shutout today. I tweeted out, I said, imagine telling a Sens fan last year that Korpisalo and Forsberg would get a shutout in the same day.
That's funny, yeah.
Did they have any? They had one last year, and it was Forsberg against Seattle. That's back-to-back shutouts at home for Forsberg against Seattle.
Holy crap. Yeah, that's actually a wild stat. Because, yeah. And I was a little bit like
Forsberg's last 3 shutouts have come against the 2 most recent expansion teams because the Utah one was the other.
Yeah. I mean, having 2 shutouts at this point in the season for Anton Forsberg is
only goalie in the league with 2.
Yeah. Dude, that's
only goalie in the league.
He's cruising. He's got to be feeling himself, and I think he's in the perfect position behind Allmark to be confident and have himself just do his mentally and everything. Like, he's comfortable probably being the backup, and he knows when he goes in there, he can do the job. So I've given him a hard time. I think I did at one point have a tweet that said maybe he should never start another game in the NHL. So
we're all feeling that in the game.
Let me put out a public apology right now to Anton Forsberg. Man, this guy he's doing his job proper. And there are times where I get a little bit scared when he's kind of losing the puck. Maybe there's moments where it doesn't look like maybe he knows where it is, but
not tonight.
Matter. No, not tonight. Not tonight.
He was dialed in. There was a glove save he made off of face-off too, where it's just like, boom, well, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, and especially where I was sitting, I was in the 100 level on the side where the Sens are getting shot on twice, and he's right there, right? And you see it. I can't believe some of the saves this guy made tonight. That one where it was a cross creaser and he just friggin' stretched over and he got his leg over there, and it was just a massive save. And there was a huge glove save as well, almost immediately after that. So Anton Forsberg, man, that guy's a dog. But yeah, back to Timmy, that empty netter, that helped.
2 sick empty netters at home, eh? 2 sick empty netters at home for Timmy this year.
Dude, that helped the old betting account too, because I happened to lose $100 on the team last night. I got a little bit excited with the way that they were playing against New York, and I live bet them in the middle of the game, and I got rinsed. So we're back. Timmy's back. We're good. I mean, freaking 1-1 for Timmy. This guy's got 16 points now.
I know, man. Where's that rank league wide? I can pull it up right here if you don't have it.
I mean, I gotta think he's in the top 10, top 20, easily top 20.
Oh yeah, he's tied for 8th with Artemi Panarin.
Yeah, so and Panarin
and Jack Eichel and Dylan Strome, sneaky Dylan Strome. Yeah. Washington's buzzing this year too.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a dark horse team right there, Ross. With obviously they're all kind of pulling on the Ovechkin rope, trying to get. You got
another one tonight.
Did he?
Oh, we got another one tonight. Yeah,
he's probably gonna get. I think he's on pace. He's on pace probably for
on Jets at noon. I said he's gonna get it this year. He needs 36 more goals to pass it. He needs 36 more goals, dude. He's got 6 in 10 games.
Yeah, I think he'll probably come close this year, and then he'll need maybe 5 more.
No, I think he gets it this year.
I think he gets 30 this year, and then that's all he needs.
It's gonna be a fun week. This is gonna be a fun week coming up, Marsh. You can even extend that to next Tuesday against the Leafs. You got Sabres, Bruins, Leafs on the road, and then this upcoming Thursday at home against the Islanders.
You know what?
Enough Western Conference teams. Enough. I want some East teams. Let's get these. Let's get these points at a premium here for a while.
Yeah, the Sens are going to take
Paul's saying Gaudette's on the same goal pace as Ovi this year.
yeah, it's nice, Paul. I know.
Let's go.
But dude, like seriously, those 3 games, divisional games, the Sens are hot right now. They finally found like this groove. I don't know if you're seeing it the same way I am. I'm sure you
they
are.
looked so good on TV tonight.
In the building, they looked even better, I think. They every little thing, they were blocking shots, their sticks were in lanes, they were breaking up everything. Like it looked a lot like St. Louis, where St. Louis was just like cluster effed. They were just like nothing they could do. Ottawa was always there. Same thing tonight. I imagine it was the same thing in New York, except for we got goalied a little bit. If they can do that against Buffalo, if they can do that against Boston, if they can do that against Toronto, they easily win 2 out of 3 of those games, possibly 3 out of 3. And if they play like that, I could say, like, I think if they play like that, they will win 3 out of 3 of those games. And then all of a sudden we're cooking with gasoline because you get a little bit of a jump start in that div.
Philippe asks, how many goals for Gaudette to beat Gretzky? The answer is 861.
He'll need to play until he's 65 to do it.
Yeah, tonight was Gaudette's 33rd goal of his career. But man, he's so sick. Like there was that play too where it was after his penalty, he came back, ragged the puck at his own blue line, and went down and ripped one blocker side. It was a good save, but you got pucks on net, and that's all that you can ask of your fourth line tonight. Just another great game. You know that Adam Gaudette leads the NHL in goals per 60 minutes of ice time this year?
That's not surprising.
Leads the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, you get fourth line minutes, and you got 6 goals. That's what'll happen.
So sick.
Not a shocking stat, but also great.
He's this one might even be there's a lot of names ahead of him actually. He's third on the Sens in points per 60 minutes behind Stützle and Tkachuk. That's unreal, man. Sens are getting contributions from everybody.
He was tied for the lead in the Sens scoring for about 10 minutes until Brady scored.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh man. Just happy to see the Ottawa Senators come through and really put the pedal to the metal in another game where we were throwing them out. Like, is it a must win? Like, can you fall under 500? Not today. The Senators win 3-0. And now it's another 2-day break. Like, it feels like Ottawa, at least they're keeping their losses for short turnarounds and they're getting their wins and then having 2 days off so we can feel good about it for a couple of days. Marshy, give me some final thoughts on this one.
Yeah, man, just another really good win. Just them, further solidifying their identity as a team, and I just really liked what they're doing here, pal. So I'm happy to. Can't wait for the next one. I hope they keep it going the way they've been.
Just awesome. Shout out to the chat, 500 strong after a 3-0 Ottawa Senators win. The best is yet to come, Ottawa Senators fans. And Kara's asking if we've got the Travis Green post game. It's not up on their YouTube, so we'll just point you in that direction. It's unfortunate. I like finishing off the show with that, but unfortunately, let's see if the Senators have posted it on their social. Maybe it's just not up yet. It is up here on NHL.com. So let's quickly listen to head coach Travis Green. I'm just gonna tap dance here for another 15 seconds while the advertisement goes. Same ad every time, by the way. Like, we get it, dude. NHL
Roblox. Yeah. I don't know why they're able to, like, why don't they just like post it on their Twitter? Like, it's actually stupid that we have to go through this stupid ad and click to the website. It's like, anyways.
Hey, it's the price we pay for Travis Green audio following the game. Shout out Ottawa Senators. This is courtesy of the Senators. Here's Travis Green following tonight's game.
You assess your team's game here tonight. Good. Different game play from what we saw last night.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we were really
Good.
It's a tough game when you come back. Anyone that says it isn't, when the other team's fresh and you played last night, lost a game that you probably deserved better. I was happy for our group tonight, the way they came out. And they played another good 60 minutes.
How close is this team to playing in the style that you want them to play?
Yeah, they're close. We've done it. I don't know how many games we've played. 11 games. We've been close some nights. I thought the last 2 games, arguably, were our 2 best games of the year. So happy with that. And it's not just how I want. I think it's how they want to play too, and getting buy-in from the group.
Would you say, like, kind of the way they're playing and kind of that you take that into account? Sorry.
Oh, a little interruption on Claire Hanna.
The players said that you want, like that they want to play the game. Sorry. I guess my question is on the defensive end. You know, you've only given up a goal, 3 goals in 3 games. What do you like about your structure?
They're getting it. They're buying into it. They're committing to it. Defensive, D-zone coverage it's not just competing. It's competing, but also being smart. It's buying in. It's listening, learning, reading off each other, and they've been a committed group.
Brady said he felt like this was your best 60-minute effort this year. He also said that when you're physically depleted, it's the mental side that kicks in. Would you agree with him that you saw good mental effort from the team?
We probably weren't as sharp as we were last night, but I thought there's some nights that your structure, your details, your compete level, you have to rely on that to win some games, especially when you're playing a back-to-back game and the other team's fresh. You're probably going to have to spend a little time in your own zone. And we did, but we defended really well tonight from the inside out.
So that goal they went upstairs. Did you buy some time by getting the ref to come over and maybe give you some sort of explanation of why it was called off? Or
yeah, I wanted to have a conversation about the goal a little bit, and just so happened that we got a little extra time out of it. But Kinger and Josh did a great job underneath, looking at it, and they ultimately make the call.
What has changed in Adam Gaudet's game since you had him in Vancouver?
He's older. He played well when he was in Vancouver. A young guy coming out of college that had always scored at every level he's been in. But I think, like a lot of young players, you don't understand the other side of the puck quite as well. He tried then. I liked him then as a player too. I like him now as a player. But I think he's just matured a little bit. I think I don't want to say takes it for granted, but he understands that it's not a given that you're going to play in the NHL. It's a hard league to make. And it's an even harder league to stay in and have longevity in. And sometimes skilled players have to figure out how they can stay in the league and just become a regular player. And he's always had a knack for scoring goals, and that line's been good for us.
Fourth lines typically have that reputation of being really physical. So
Yeah.
How does it change the dynamics of the team having a guy on fourth line score so much?
Well, it does a little. It's not the norm. But you got Cuzzy and Mac who, they like to play physical, but they're smart. Cuzzy's a real smart player. He understands the game really well. Mac's game is also, it shouldn't go unsaid that his game has been very solid as well. And they got some chemistry. They understand their role. And that's a big part of it, is understanding your role and what's expected out of you. And I think we got 9 goals from our fourth line, which is pretty good.
Even as
We'll leave it at that for Travis Green. That's a long press conference for Greener. That is 5 more
Greener's
minutes.
not used to talking that much.
No, I guess he's happy with the boys, man. And I'm sure they've got the day off tomorrow, feeling good after a win. 3-0 the final score. Love that first answer. How'd you think the team played? Good.
Good.
Very good. I think this was a good postcast, Marshy. Really had fun with you. That's the Leaves Martian. I'm Ross Levitan. Let's get some GSGs in the chat. Go, Sens, go. Big one on Tuesday. We'll have Locked On Senators for you on Monday. We appreciate everybody for riding with us. Win or lose, Ventcast, Vibecast. It's all here on Locked On Sens. Make sure you're following at Leaves Martian on Twitter and join our Movember space. And make sure you're helping us out, raise some money for men's health. Appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. GSG's in the chat. This is a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.